This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm Jody Miller-Young, your host. Halloween has become a mecca for those who love to dress their dogs. Social media pup stars show off their costumes for sometimes weeks leading up to the big day. But did you know that adorning our dogs with beautiful things started a very long time ago? A few years back, I was intrigued by a story I read and decided to investigate just how many centuries back this trend began. The first jeweled collar buried on its owner's canine was in 3100 BC. Do you believe that? It was a dog buried with Chinese King Kuo of Zhongshan, which dates back to before Egyptian dynasties existed. The dog wore a collar of gold, silver, and turquoise, really too ornate and beautiful to have solely been used for identification. So, although things have changed a lot in terms of what we have available to us for our dogs, pup parents have been showing their love for their canines through fashion for forever. With Halloween upon us, I asked two ladies who have exemplified the creativity and fun of what Halloween is about to come onto the show and talk about their wonderful designs, which have won numerous awards. So we're going to take a short break from our sponsor before we meet them, but don't go away. We've got lots of smiles and warm and fuzzies for you when we come back. So grab that favorite beverage, get comfortable, and we'll be right back.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. We're here today with two ladies who have created really fun, creative, and wild costumes for their dogs, but complete sets that they participate in. And I'm very excited to introduce them to you because I've seen their creations at the Tompkins Square Halloween Parade, which I've gone to for several years. Their names are Lynn Consovoy and Diana Lucchi. And they're friends who found they had a real talent for thinking up these imaginative costumes for their dogs and these settings. Think things like Jack, Rose, and the jilted boyfriend Cal from Titanic, or a sweet shop complete with cotton candy, a Hershey's Kiss, and candy dots. A little event that I just mentioned called Tompkins Square Halloween Parade, which last year drew about 15,000 people with their dogs, became the platform for showcasing this duo's designs. And of course, they got noticed. So I can't wait to hear about their costumes, how they came up with the ideas, and how they implemented them. Let me introduce you all to Lynn Consovoy and Diana Lucchi. Welcome, ladies.
Hey, Jody. How are you?
Hi. How you doing today?
Doing great.
Good, good. Both Lynn and Diana are, well, in New York and New Jersey, respectively. So it's a little cold up there. And I know the Tompkins Square Park Halloween Parade was yesterday in a new location for the first time on the East River. Lynn, you went to that. How was it?
Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. We were a little worried having a new location, and the weather was a little cooler, but everyone came out, and we still had about 300 entries.
Nice.
Halloween costume contest. I was part of the crew this year. I retired from competing in contests, but I still like to help out.
Absolutely. It's such a cool event. And I have to give a shout out to Ada Nieves, who is the key organizer for that event for years and does an incredible job and is an amazing fashion designer for all types of pets. So, hey, Ada.
She did a phenomenal job with a few obstacles along the way, but it turned out to be a fantastic event.
I'm really happy to hear that. So, ladies, I think everyone would like to hear about your pups to start because they may not know Baxter, Gianna, and Guipetto. So, Lynn, why don't you tell us a little bit about Baxter?
Baxter is a 13-year-old Yorkshire Terrier who, way before we did Halloween costumes, we would dress up for online photo contests. So he's been doing it for 13 years. He's originally from a puppy mill, but he was adopted into our family, and we love him so much.
Oh, and he's living the life ever since. Yeah. What about Gianna and Guipetto, Diana?
Well, actually, Gianna and Guipetto got started on an online contest, and we met Lynn. And basically, it was Lynn who got us started in, more contests, and our both entries. One of the Tompkins Square entries is where we really started to. It was like our first event, so to speak, with my two babies, Gianna and Guipetto.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it funny how we meet people online because of common interests, and especially when it comes to our pets, dogs especially, it just breaks down the barriers very, very quickly. And look at what happened. You guys became, partners in crime, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're great friends, and we have had a lot of fun, and it's been great.
Awesome.
And who knew that my dogs had this in them? I mean, I'm so proud of them, too.
Oh, well, when people see the photos on the Bark and Swagger page of the Pet Life Radio site of the costumes that you ladies have created and your dogs participating, they're going to go, wow. Lynn, you've said that Halloween has, always been one of your favorite holidays. Tell us about that.
Well, I've always loved Halloween personally. When my children were young, we'd always dress up and have a lot of fun. And then when Baxter came into the family, we just continued the tradition. We don't do one costume. We do multiple costumes. We just have so much fun. We just keep going.
One just isn't good enough.
Never.
When was Baxter's first Halloween parade, and what did you dress him in?
Well, we used to do smaller events at the pet stores, but the first major event was with Diana, and that was in 2014. We came together, and she joined us with the Titanic. And Diana made costumes for her dogs. Julie Lancaster made Baxter's costume, and a friend of ours helped us make a replica of the ship. We were very surprised to win Best in Show.
It was incredible. I was
Thank
there,
you.
and it was a big wow. Because, look, it's New York City, and people are creative, and you see quite a bit of people going all out to kind of create the best. It's a very competitive town. But your costume and the set and everything, it was so intricate. Diana, talk to us a little bit about creating the costumes for these parades that you do.
Well, I've been sewing since I'm like 8 years old, and I've always also loved Halloween. I used to make my own costumes before I got my dogs, and I would go to costume contests myself. And once I got the dogs, I started sewing for them. So when Lynn invited me to this Titanic thing, I said, oh, this is great. I'm going to get to make something elaborate for my two. And it was a lot of fun, just thinking, all right, what would Rose wear? And, what would Cal wear? And put something together for them.
It was more than just the costumes. We got together, we planned, we constructed our sets and our ideas. We started a year before each contest.
I was just going to ask you that. How long does it take? A year you started?
A year. We planned for the 2015 Tompkins Square event, I believe the week after the 2014 event. Right away, we jumped in.
It's like putting on a production.
It was. We have a good friend named Carlos Mejia who would build whatever we came up with in our minds. So our floats were spectacular. And Diana would do the costumes, and together we presented our designs each year.
Is Carlos a woodworker? Does he do this? Is that part of his job where he creates things?
He is a master craftsman, and he never made a float before these events. But every year we'd come up with ideas, and he was able to actually create exactly what we had in our mind.
That's pretty amazing. So for the next year, for 2015, the two of you created a circus car, right?
Exactly. My favorite.
Okay.
It was our favorite.
It was awesome.
For sure.
You even had like those little platforms that the elephants would stand on in the old days in the circus for the dogs on the stage, right?
Yes.
And they performed beautifully, didn't they, Diana? They just
we didn't believe it. We were actually in awe of our own pets that actually stood there. Gianna made a turn up on the platform. I'm like, I cannot believe they're doing this.
Oh, my goodness. Tell us about the set. Tell us about the costumes. Lynn, why don't you tell us about the set? Diana, why don't you tell us about the costumes? Lynn,
well,
go first.
For the set, we decided to do an actual circus car with bars. But we created a flat space on the top so that the dogs could also be presented and seen in between. So they rode inside part of the time and outside. But Diana and I dressed up, too. I've got to mention that. We do a whole scene. It's not just the dogs.
That's
we
right.
participate so that visually it's 5 of us that, the crowd is getting to see.
So tell us about what you wore.
I was the ringmaster, the trainer. Baxter was the lion made by Diana. And then, go ahead, Diana.
Okay, and then, I was the candy vendor, which actually was definitely a collaborative effort because Lynn made my little tray that I was holding and all the candies on it, and I made her ringmaster jacket and hat, so that was funny. And then this was actually my favorite costumes of all to do because, who doesn't love a circus? But Gianna was an elephant with the big giant ears and the circus elephant, so it had the design on, the back. I think it's called the dressing. I actually looked it up. And that was just so much fun. And Guipetto the clown, and I made Baxter into the lion, which was perfect for him. And all 3 dogs, which is also great about them, is they're all the same exact size, so they all look so perfect together. And it couldn't be a better bunch.
And
Diana and I don't live near each other, so a lot of this had to be done over the phone and through pictures and emails. And we'd get together to paint. We actually painted the circus, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the car. You painted and decorated it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had
we met and painted. We had circus music going. It was so much fun. There was everything about it was fun.
So, Diana, how much research do you have to do to get the costumes just right?
Yeah, I do a lot of research, especially, like with the elephant, I wanted her to be the elephant. I didn't want the hat to be sitting on top of her head, which would have been, easy to do. Instead, I wanted her face to be the face of the elephant. So I needed to figure out how to make, the trunk and also keep it comfortable for her, but how to make the trunk kind of stick out from her face and the tusks stick out from her face, and what kind of elephant is she, and how big should the ears be? And,
For people listening at home, I know you've been sewing since you're a kid. Have you ever had professional training, or was it a family type thing where your mom taught you or your aunt taught you? Or
my mom taught me, and she had no professional training except that her mom was a seamstress. So her mom taught her, and my mom taught me. So no professional training, but it's close to the family.
I want to add that I have no sewing ability, and I still can create costumes. I use hot glue, and it works very well.
There's more
that works too.
There's one way to skin that Halloween costume.
I did want to add that Guipetto as the clown, his little flower at the top of his head, it actually turned. So it would turn in the wind.
Oh, my goodness. That is so cute. And again, you can see photos of all of this on the Bark and Swagger page of the Pet Life Radio site. We are going to take a short break, ladies, but there's so much more I want to talk with you about. So don't go away. There's more fabulous costumes, wonderful fashion, and of course, doggies when we come back. So refresh that beverage, get cozy. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back, right after we kibble a little with our sponsors.
Put on a perfectly possum pet party. Having an awesome birthday or adoption day celebration for your 4-legged friend? Or just want a fun excuse to throw a fun party with your friends from the dog park? Deck out your party with Molly and Bandit Pet Party accessories. Party products designed specifically for pets. There are wearables, including adjustable pet party hats, bow ties, and tutus. The photo prop kits include funny glasses and hats. The party supplies and decorations include coordinating table covers, party banners, cake decorations, and treat bowls, cups, and bags. Everything you need to create great memories and Instagram-worthy photos. They're available in 2 colorful themes, tropical and fireman. It's a dog's life. Celebrate it with Molly and Bandit Pet Party at mollyandbanditpetparty.com/petlife.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio, and I'm Jody Miller-Young. You know, it was incredible. All of these amazing costumes you've done. I think one of my favorites, I know yours is the circus car, but one of my favorites was the sweet shop. And a reason for that was seeing dogs dressed up. I mean, the dogs are cute enough as they are, but dressed up as a Hershey's Kiss or as a candy dot. I mean, come on, ladies. So I need to hear about this. What made you decide to do this, and what was involved to bring it to fruition?
I think originally we had some other ideas, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, we threw a lot of ideas around.
That didn't come to us so easily, but we decided Halloween was all about candy. And once we got that idea, we just ran with it. And the float got more elaborate, the dogs' costumes got more elaborate, and we had a ball with this one.
And Lynn was like, color.
Right.
Oh,
right.
There was plenty of that. You'll see when you see the pictures on the site, everyone. It is so cute. And people would just stop in their tracks. I remember, it was just a real standout.
We had candy jars on 3 shelves and just gave out candy to all the spectators as we approached our sweet.
These costumes were...
I didn't get candy that year.
Aw. These costumes were a little bit more difficult, especially the Hershey's Kiss. There was I had to redo it about 3 times to get it, to stand up on her and yet be comfortable, so that the first couple, like when she would lay down, the whole Hershey's Kiss would collapse.
Oh my goodness!
And I'd be like, no, that's no good.
What'd you make the silver?
The silver was actually a very thin silver, what do you call it, lame? Yeah, okay. It was very soft silver lame. And then underneath that was a thick, very thick stabilizer and a little bit of foam.
Ah, to give it the shape.
But to give it the shape, and I had to bend, and I actually sewed the foam into a form that would actually be stiff enough, but also when she laid down, it would fall with her. I had to do it over 3 times to finally get it so that it would look good on her like that. And the most fun though was the cotton candy.
I loved that one. That was my favorite.
Was adorable. Yeah.
I did use hot glue. I did use spray glue for this one, and this one was fun. It was just cotton batting, and I laid it out on the front lawn with pink and blue spray paint and just pulled out little balls, and I actually made a white fleece jacket for him first, and then I took the cotton candy and I sprayed some of it pink and I sprayed some of it blue. I didn't want it all pink because he's a boy, and everybody thinks he's a girl, so I promised I would give him some blue. So I made a rainbow cotton candy, and I sprayed it, and then I spray painted the white fleece jacket with spray glue, and then just stuck the cotton balls to it. It's 2 pieces, and then there's the head piece. It's more like a hood that actually is underneath his chin and above his head, and then the cone is actually made of paper. It's just rolled paper. I wanted it to be as realistic as possible, and I just stuck that to the top. And he just walked with it on. He was fine with it. It was very lightweight and very comfortable.
Oh, my goodness. And have you ever, it's dogs we're talking about, too, who are unpredictable in terms of the movements and everything else. Have you ever had a fashion faux pas moment when actually on set?
If they get tired, they would lay down and take a little rest. And the events usually were over 3 hours.
I know. Yeah.
So, you have to let dogs be dogs.
Yeah.
Like if you can't, if they're going to do something wrong, then...
We'd leave it off for a little bit, and we'd put it back on, and they were fine with it.
Yeah. It's loose.
Yeah.
And then
Everything
you ladies are always part of the act. So what did you dress up as for the sweet shop?
Well, I was a soda machine, and I had my hair actually going through the top of a soda bottle and coming out into a cup. So that was my idea.
That's really creative. That's very
cute. It was cute.
Well, we like to get involved with the whole scene, so...
Yeah.
And I was a gumball machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually made the gumballs out of, first I did the clear bowl in the front, and then I painted all the different, like ping pong balls, and I painted them all different colors, and put them inside the bowl on the front, a little hat on my head to look like the little cap at the top of the machine, and a skirt with a little silver on it, also made out of that same silver lame, and with a little gumball that came out a little chute in the front.
Oh, my God.
Most colorful I think float, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Some people, we're not one of them because we all are really conscious about what we put on our dogs. But, some people are against dressing your dogs. They think it's mean. They think dogs aren't supposed to be dressed up. I know that you make special effort to make sure that what you create for the dogs, both in the way of the sets and the costumes, keep that in mind. Tell us a little bit about that, what you consider specifically.
Well, actually, one of the things that we do is we make sure that we do have tethers to the structure, and that's to keep the dogs a little safe. I make sure that the costumes have an area where you can get to the harness, and then we have the tether that hooks to the harness so that they really can't fall off, but they're able to move around. They can move around each other, they can lay down, they can stand up, but they're safe.
Secure. And we also make a lip on the floats for safety so that when they do lay down, they can't slip off and that they feel secure.
That's great. And you had also said about, the floats that you want them to be off the ground. They're small dogs,
Yes,
right.
Of course.
Yeah.
With over 500
it keeps them a little safer.
Yeah, you do want to make sure that they're up high and protected.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many people and so many dogs, big dogs, small dogs, and chickens and all sorts of other animals too, right? We always remember the chicken. Lady Gaga is her name.
Yes, yeah.
Chicken?
Sure, she still goes to events.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Lynn, you retired Baxter. Was it in 2017?
I retired him in 2017 from the big events. He used to do a lot of fundraising and fashion galas, and we used to travel all over the United States. And he is 13, so we cut back a little, but we still support in all the groups, and we still dress up for Halloween.
Yeah, but you became a judge instead at the Tompkins Square Parade.
Yeah, last year I was chosen as a judge, which was a lot of fun from all the experience.
Tell us about it. Yeah, tell us about the experience about being sort of part of the selection process as opposed to being in front of the audience.
Well, after doing 3 winning years with our floats, I was very honored when I was asked to be a judge. I know what goes into the carriages and the floats, and it's a good opportunity to use my experience to judge the other entries, and also you get to see every single costume, which is also a plus. And it was pretty easy. A lot of them just popped, and you were able to say that's a winner. Early on in the contest, you knew what you were looking for, and we were definitely, surprised. Some people have so much creativity, and it all comes out at these events.
Yeah, and one of them that definitely popped was yours, Diana, the first year that you participated without your designing partner. Tell us about that costume and what went into creating that, because that won first place, right?
Yes. So I decided, what can I do with, my 2 dogs? Because when Lynn told me she wasn't going to do it that year, I said, okay. So I came up with the idea of an aquarium, a saltwater fish tank. And then a friend of mine, Asha Vereen, said that she would like to do it with me. So I said, okay. So we actually built the fish tank together. and I made the costumes. So she just, she left the ideas to me, and the costumes were, Guipetto was a blue and gold saltwater angelfish. Mm-hmm. Gianna was my favorite. She's a venomous lionfish, which is just so beautiful. And her dog is named Penelope, a little Yorkie, and that was the clownfish. And it was really fun making these costumes and keeping them nice and colorful, and doing all the spikes on Gianna for the lionfish and working with how am I going to get them to not only to stand out from the costume, but also be soft. I didn't want to use like pipe cleaner because that just bends up and will look terrible after a couple of spins around the fish tank. But I wanted it to bend and move and not get damaged by moving around in the fish tank, and just move with her. And it did. I used actually optical wire inside fabric. Yeah, and it worked.
Clever. And you went as the pet shop owner, right?
So I went as a pet shop owner, which was, originally my plan. And then Asha went as a goldfish that kind of got out of the bowl, so to speak, a goldfish that got away.
Right. Well, congratulations on that one. That's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you can see photos of that on the Bark and Swagger page as well. Lynn, in addition to Diana's saltwater aquarium, what were some of the other standouts when you judged last year?
Well, there were so many. I can't remember all of them because we had so many this year that are in my mind from yesterday. There was a tour bus that won Best in Show. It was really hard to pick one because they were both so spectacular. The tour bus had French bulldogs on it, and the whole family was involved again. But a lot of people do TV shows, very like pop culture.
Pop culture, yep. Absolutely. I think that's big every year. That and superheroes. Yeah.
That's fun. And then you have your standards that come every year, but they always have a different twist to them. There's always the witches and the scary vampires and different things. And some dogs just come cute. Cupcakes and milkshakes and puppuccinos, Starbucks.
Yeah. But it's clever. I mean, New Yorkers come up with some very clever costume ideas. That was always my perception every year. You just went yesterday, fresh in your mind. What were some of the standouts from yesterday?
Well, the one that got Best in Show, it was spectacular. It was Hatter, and they made 3 teacups. I believe they were probably paper mache, one on top of the other, and the dog sat on the top, and both the owners were in the scene as well. And that did win Best in Show. That was a standout. But one that I liked that didn't win was these 2 llamas.
I saw that.
Yeah, a little Yorkie head was the llama head, and then they constructed a whole llama on wheels around this head. So that came wheeling out, and then the owner dressed up again with paper mache, all handmade. I love the handmade costumes with probably a 3-foot head on top of her own head. And I just thought that was wonderful. But unfortunately, I wasn't judging. Somebody else didn't think it was, winner. But that's okay. I mean, there were just so many. When you have 300 contestants, it's really hard to single out just a few for prizes.
Absolutely. So tell me what your babies were dressed up like this year. Diana?
So we went as Cabbage Patch dolls, Cabbage Patch twins. Inside, I put it on the stroller, and I made a box and made the Cabbage Patch Twins box, and they were like inside the box, and inside the box was bottles, and just as if it just came from the store, bottles and washcloths and their little shoes, and they had, and of course I made their outfits, and they had like they both had the curly red hair and looked like little twins.
It's so funny, these things, they go away and they come back, but they never go away forever, things like Cabbage Patch, right? It's like part of our history, right?
I think so.
What about you, Lynn? Yours, oh my God, what a cute costume that was too. I love the little tush. Tell us about it.
Okay, a friend of mine was over one day, and we were playing around with a pair of that Baxter had. We added a little plumber's crack and a little tush to the top of the jean and decided that he looked like a plumber or he should work at Home Depot. That's what we ended up going with. We got a little apron that said Home Depot, a little credit card holder, which was actually a little metal box, so it looked like a little toolbox.
Uh-huh.
And we just dressed him up. I went to Home Depot with him, and all the employees want to pose with him. So I do have a picture of him with about 15 of the employees, and one particular one in the paint department. So that was a lot of fun. And
that's the one that we have, the one with the guy in the paint department, I guess?
Yes, that's Frank. Yeah. He helped us with the paint, believe it or not, on the circus shop. He helped us match all the colors up to our vinyl. So after coming in a dozen times, we became friends, and he wanted to see what Baxter was wearing, and that's where we took that picture. And another costume I made for him years ago, but I brought it back, was bubble gum stuck under a shoe. And again, I don't sew, so people that don't sew can still have fun. I got a pink pajama, and I hot glued little bubblegum pieces all over the pajama. I cut a little hole for his tail, and he wore a little cap also with bubblegum. And then on the back, I got a soft shoe, and I just attached it to the top. And that's what he was, bubblegum stuck under a shoe.
That is really cute. You're going to be able to see all of this again on the Bark and Swagger page of the Pet Life Radio site. Ladies, Halloween is just a couple of days away. When you hear this, it might only be a day away or possibly today. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Have fun dressing up your pets. Make sure they're comfortable and safe. And ladies, thank you so very much for your time and sharing your great stories about your very creative costumes.
Thanks, Jody.
And thank you all for listening. Thanks to our producer, Mark Winter. Mark, you make us sound like geniuses, and we love you for it. My passion is living stylishly and animal rescue, so tune in next time to discover the designers, home decor, styles, and rescue stories I love. Don't forget to visit me at barkandswagger.com, where you'll find great fashion and shelter stories and more. So until next time, when fierce fashion calls, what are you going to do? Bark and swagger!
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.